Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. Real quick, I want to make a follow-up companion video to my Making 300 Blackout Brass video. And this video, I just wanted to show you how I've automated this a little bit to leave my hands free to run this. Now what this involves is I have a foot switch that this drill is hooked into. I got this at Harbor Freight. I think these are about 13 bucks. There's the item number 96619. And what this does is it just breaks the connection so that I can use my foot to operate the drill and be completely hands-free. I don't have to reach up and pull the trigger or anything like that. Now, if you've already seen my previous Making 300 Blackout video, you know that I've got the quick trim die and cutter. Here's basically the old style version of cutter. Incidentally, these are sold separately, so you can actually convert if you have one of these that you invested in early, you can just buy this head here and turn it into a power quick trim. Right here, I'm using a nut driver, 3/16, to drive the top of this this power head, and that gives me the ability to have a little bit of joint there, so that I'm not direct drive on the. I don't have to maintain a perfect angle here. You see, I'm off just a little bit, and it doesn't seem to affect it at all. As always, I'm running a little tiny bit of WD-40 on the shaft here and the wear point here. So just to keep the friction down, because this does turn faster than it's supposed to. Now, a couple of points. First of all, this is not the way Lee ever intended this to be used, so I don't recommend you do this, and if something goes wrong, call Lee and complain to him about how it didn't work. This is completely independent of anything that they intended for. They want you to use a real slow RPM here. I actually find that I like something that moves a little faster. So what I've got for you is I'll run a few of these cases. These are 300 Blackout, and show you real quick. You can see they're about 10 thousandths longer. I'm shooting for 1.360 or 1.359. So these are ugly on the end still. Now what I'm doing here is I raise that up in there. Now I'm lifting those off of the floor of the die. I just basically give it a tap and let it stop on it. I'm actually about a 1,000 longer than. A quick adjustment here. That was a 1,000 click. Just like that. That's how well that works. Hopefully you can see that. Anyway, again, you just can't beat it. I'm going to pull my chair up. I'm going to talk about speed a little bit here. I'm just giving it a good tap and letting it coast down under its own speed. And try not, leave the case in there so that it stops on the case, not on the floor of the die. It really won't hurt it as far as I could tell, but it's just one of those things. A little bit of technique. And that is making 300 Blackout fast. All right. We'll do 10 there real quick. So anyway, you can make it pretty fast. So what I've got here is this is just an 1.25" piece I had laying around the shop. C-clamp I already had. Drill I already had. I've got the trigger lock. Bring that up a little bit. I've got the trigger locked with the trigger lock button, obviously on the forward drive, 3/16 drive bit, and just a tiny little bit of bungee tension to overcome what's in the springs in here. If you guys remember from my previous video, I also have swapped out and I'm using a 1/4" ball on the springs. You can use an airsoft pellet or BB. Something that's a little bit smaller to take the intermediate size, like a 223. I just don't like the way this spring tension is. They cut too much on the outside, not enough on the inside, whatever. Changing out the 3/8 ball seems to give you just about the right amount of tension, so you guys might want to try that. Anyway, this is not a final. I'll probably weld up something a little fancier, but this is just something that it actually works so good. I just left it and did a bunch of brass, but thought you guys might like to see that. Now, I'll pause it for a second, and I'll show you. I'll swap over and do some 223 real fast. Show you how good that works. Make sure you always resize your brass before you trim it, because when you resize it, the die's going to come down. And these things, when you fire them, they kind of squat against the chamber like that, which kind of retracts them a little bit. When you run them through the die, that collects back up, and they'll almost always get a little bit longer, like as much as 10,000. So you want to make sure that that's all done prior to trimming. Otherwise, it'll be inaccurate. Now, here's one that's 2,000ths over the limit. So let's take a look here. Again, I'm trimming these to 1.755, 1.60 or 1.760 is the max, the SAMI max. I'm 5 under that. The chamber tolerance is usually 10 greater. That gives me 15,000ths total from the minimum chamber dimension. That's a little long, but. Okay, so there you see a quick trim there. That's why they call it quick trim. Hopefully you can make that out. It's a pretty nice little, just a slight chamfer. And again, I'm running, in this one also, the 1/4" bearing rather than the 3/8 that it ships with. But what happens if I've got this set for 1.755 and I come up on one that's already shorter than that? And that's one of the things I really like about this is I don't have to measure each piece. I can just hit it anyway, run it through. If it's too long, it trims it. If it's not, it just goes ahead and puts the chamfer on it you want anyway, and you're all set. So that's something that is really advantageous for me. I'm just going to trim the longest ones down to a maximum size, and anything short of that just gets a chamfer. Pretty cool. So I have a little bit of a love-hate with this die. This system works really good. This is a great idea. I think some things could be better. This little adjustment ring is a little weak. In fact, I just order a few extra and keep them on hand. And now that I know that it's weak, I don't break them. But I've broken before. Whenever you're running this, if it ever chatters, you can actually bend these ears over, and this won't function at all properly. So if you start seeing some bad chamfers on your brass, you'll know that this is probably stuck because these ears got bent, and this doesn't. Each one of these needs to be able to free float independently on this little pin that's in here. So you just take it out periodically. You just give it one of these deals. All right, guys, I just want to fade you out with a final look at what I'm doing here. Again, this is just a prototype. I'll come up with something a little more sophisticated probably in the future, but this actually worked just as you see it pretty well. I got a C-clamp. I'm clamped to the bottom of this League Classic single stage press, and I got a little bungee here, just keep a little downward pressure to override what's on those cutters. I've just got a old bungee on here, just keeping this so it doesn't flop around. That's what this is for. This whole piece of steel is just to hold this vertical. You can see I'm not even aligned very well. I've got a little bit of an angle to it, and it's still working great. I did hundreds of pieces of brass in just a little bit. They're all very consistent in size. So anyway, I'll probably do something a little more sophisticated in the future, but I did want to show you that. Here's this foot pedal. Really, that's what this whole video is about, is having this foot pedal so you can automate your trimming activity and leave your hands free to feed the cases and you operate the handle. So once again, thanks for tuning in. As always, appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Let me know what you think of this. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Take care, and we'll see you next time.